Greetings, fellow seekers. I've identified about 6 traps that we can all fall into with regular frequency. A frequency which can be quite scary, to tell you the truth. I had a brush with time myself recently, where I thought I was allocating my time effectively, but in fact I was rushing, and so I thought I was using time, but it turned out that time was using me. Got me to thinking about how we can so easily fall into traps which are going to compromise our frame and create situations where we just look silly. So I thought I'd lay out some of the little traps that we can set for ourselves, and then I thought I'd set some solutions. And as I have been doing more recently, I'll provide an AI prompt at the end of this that you can use and apply if you wish to try and rebuild from some kind of terrible place, or indeed if you only wish to stop digging the hole that you have been creating for yourself. So the first trap that I detected was not having a starting point. And what happened was that I found myself in a rush. I found myself second guessed and on the back foot, and so I immediately threw myself into a task, but I hadn't set the parameters for myself. I didn't have a starting point. I was suddenly catapulted into a situation over which I'd loosened my sense of control, and this led to number 2 trap, which was sloppy behaviors. I found myself working hard and fast, but overlooking details. And even though I thought I was operating to a very useful system, and I felt like I was on top of things, I guess I was just under the weather. I guess I was just tired. But I had negative self-talk, and negative self-talk is the third trap. Now, negative self-talk often is seen as that little voice in your head which is down on you, which is telling you that you're not worthy or you're incapable. But there's another kind of negative self-talk. It's that seductive kind of, she'll be right, you can do this kind of self-talk, which sometimes can encourage you to overlook the details. It can cause you to overlook the important things, those small, minute factors that make a world of difference to your overall output. So, I had poor use of time, negative self-talk, sloppy behavior, and a lack of a starting point. And all of these things conspired to create low standards. And of course, low standards is one of the biggest traps that we can fall into. If we don't have a sense of the standard that we wish to set, maintain, and promote, many bad things can follow. The result of all of these things was that it had an impact on my identity, my self-identity. And because I came up short, I found myself on a back foot in a reactive mode. I found myself being sloppy, not using my time properly, and succumbing to the negative self-talk. I found myself experiencing a poor self-identity. A sense of self-identity took a blow. So I went through the day giving myself a hard time, feeling like I was somehow more to blame for the situation than I actually was. Now, I'm not saying that my sloppy behavior and my bad self-talk and my lack of starting point and my reactiveness, I'm not saying that these things didn't contribute to a mini crisis, because they did. And I'm prepared to own it, which is one of the fixes I'm going to promote to you. What I'm saying here is that I dug a hole, and the question is, having dug a hole for yourself, how do you stop digging? I'd like to recommend 3 ideas to help anybody who finds themselves in a hole that they've dug for themselves. And those 3 ideas are roughly: be more decisive, be more committed, and be more timely. Decisiveness, commitment, and timeliness. How can we start to do that? We can't always remedy the things that we've done or the ways that we've fallen short. However, we can show up daily and mean it. We have to be prepared to hit the sack, sleep it off, and get up the next day and show up and mean it. This is going to help us to create better clarity. But the best way to create better clarity is by action. So we show up and we mean it, and we take action, and then we create clarity from our actions. And one of the best ways to do this is to not be reactive, not to be sloppy, not to be on the back foot, but to actually block your time in a wise fashion. Work it out so that you know what you're supposed to be doing at any given time of the day. And by all means, do not try to squeeze too many things into a day and fool yourself that you are somehow a Superman, because you end up as the Joker. Change how you speak to yourself. Superman doesn't speak to himself like the Joker speaks to himself. So don't be the Joker, be the Superman, and talk to yourself accordingly. Have standards. Have a resolve and a sense of consistency about how you show up daily and how you mean it. Because the message that you send to yourself is your signal. And the signal that you send is the signal you send to others too. One way to think about your signal is to liken it to radio waves or bandwidth. If you tune into 3 main bandwidths, I would suggest bandwidth number 1 is meet the world with fewer excuses. Bandwidth number 2 is create less noise and focus and hone in on better signal. And bandwidth number 3 is create better outputs. Imagine turning that dial and tuning into those 3 things. No excuses, less noise, better outputs. So let's focus on those 3 bandwidths a little bit more. Stop trying so hard. Stop using phrases like I will try or I will get round to it. Stop giving yourself a sick pass. Instead, decide you're going to do something by a certain time, so that you allocate your time and you allocate a sense of decisiveness about what you're doing. Learn how to set standards for yourself and then stand your ground. Find the hill that you're prepared to die on. Stand your ground. And third, stop whining and making excuses. Stop trying to offload blame for what you've done wrong on other people and other circumstances. This isn't the same as acknowledging all the factors involved, or even acknowledging where other people are falling short. But you have to be prepared to compartmentalize and separate the issues. Yes, somebody else might be at fault, but also the fact that they are at fault does not excuse you or mean that you are not at fault yourself. So let's have 3 little aphorisms to go with that, shall we? Stop trying so hard, because when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Stop giving away your autonomy. Stand your ground. Choose your base and own your space. And thirdly, stop complaining and trying to offload blame. Drop the wine and hold the line. Isn't that good? Isn't that useful? Do I not entertain you? Okay, fellow seeker, if you've been tuned into this, if you'll excuse the extended metaphor, if you have tuned into this and it's resonated with you, there are a lot of ideas in this particular short snippet. Bottom line is, find your standard and hold it. And remember that your time is the most valuable, non-renewable resource you have. Don't gulp at it, don't grab it. Use it wisely. And remember that time can always seduce you into thinking that you're doing better than you are, when in fact you're just chasing your tail. So just be wise about that before the event. So I'm going to leave you now, fellow seeker, with one final thought. And that final thought being, whatever it is you dare to do or dare to dream, begin it now.